Hey, this is DocHoliday, and wanted to walk through a couple things with my Minstrel, and this actually is one of the upcoming new skirmishes with Update 3 Legends of Eriador. This is the Attack at Dawn skirmish. So this happens in Doldinen, and essentially you have to go through and lead an attack to help try and prevent an invasion on the outpost of Estelden. So a couple things going on here. First off, I wanted to kind of highlight doing some things on my Minstrel. I know some people have issues going through and leveling up Minstrels, primarily from a combat standpoint. I find it hard to solo, so just kind of wanted to show some things that I do, as well as just kind of my general play style and how I do things. So before I get into that, I also wanted to kind of touch on the fact that I am using quite a few of the Lua plugins, so the scripting interfaces that you can use within LOTRO. Same scripting interface that's in WoW and other games. So you'll notice the kind of parentheses that are around my character name. Those are basically my health and power bars. I also have using a plugin that allows me to show and kind of distinguish between different buffs and debuffs and those kinds of things, get a better understanding of where they are. So that's below me. And then the other thing that I just started loading up was a plugin called MouseCursor Highlight, which basically allows you to better find your cursor. It's something I always have problems with in MMOs particularly, is heat of the battle, trying to figure out where your cursor is. So this allows you to change it and make it bigger and make it a little more obvious as to where it is. So I'm just kind of going through some different fights here, and you'll notice for the most part, my Minstrel, I pretty much go in and start AoEing and grab everything I can, and usually as long as I end up getting a couple good crits, it's not really that big of an issue. But you'll notice there's some cases where I do have a little bit more problems. One of the things that happens as you go through this skirmish is there'll be points where there are catapults that are also launching attacks into the area. So you'll notice as you go through here, there's some red rings that appear. Those are areas where those catapults are going to land. So big boulders, they do damage to your enemies. They also do damage to you. Pretty painful. So it's one of those where if you can get your opponent in there, that's a good thing. If you get stuck in it, that's a bad thing. So you'll see here, I'm going to try and see if I can do anything to get these guys in here. Unfortunately, both of the guys I'm fighting are range attackers, so they don't really want to come in and play in the area that I was. So I'm just going to go ahead and melee them down. Probably one of the biggest things that I can suggest when doing solo work on a Minstrel is using Anthem of the Free Peoples. And this, you can use it in two different ways. One is either you'll see I just got smacked by that boulder there accidentally. I was trying to drag him into it, but I got me, and it was like a 1300 hit. But Anthem of the Free Peoples, you can use it for two things. One is just a normal anthem, so your tier 4 ballads. The other one is you can slot a trait that changes your one of your attacks to also not only be an AoE attack, but also to go ahead and provide that same morale buff. So notice that's one of the first things I usually will tier up to, is to get to that attack such that not only do I do a nice AoE and grab things, but I get a pretty hefty morale regen. And that's really what allows me to do these kinds of things, where I've got 5 mobs beating on me right now. And one of them's signature, and basically have all these guys beat. I'm not really worried about healing myself. I go through. In that case, I did just pop a morale potion, but for the most part, once you go through and do that, it's kind of a race. Basically, how much damage can I do before I get into too much trouble? But being in War Speech or Glowy Hands mode allows you to kick out a lot of damage, and really does allow you to win those kinds of races. You'll notice a couple things are going on here. Basically I'm controlling the different control points. This is an offensive skirmish, so essentially you have to go through and successfully beat, capture the different areas. But you can move at your own pace. Some of these have points where they will have counterattacks, but for the most part you can move at your own pace, which I kind of like at times. This is one of the Deathmonger lieutenants. The big thing here is make sure you kill him first, because otherwise if you kill somebody else, he will go ahead and res that person. Now that res, you can actually interrupt it, so keep that in mind. If you do see that that's going to happen, you can get an interrupt in there. These little goblin guys are relatively annoying as they do stuns, which no one likes, but especially not a Minstrel who's trying to basically out DPS the bad guys before they can kill them. So, going through here, you'll notice really do like the little plugin, the Buffbars. It really does help and makes things a lot more clear as to what's going on as in different battles. So, this actually is the final boss battle here, and the trick here is you have to not only defeat him, but none of the goblins that are circling up at the top there can escape. So here we got a goblin scout. He's trying to run away. So I go ahead and get enough damage on this guy to go ahead and knock him down a little bit, make sure I keep aggro. And now I have to find the goblin. There he is. So now it's a race to go ahead and DPS him down. Certainly any attacks that you had that are slows would be good. But in this case, he doesn't have too much health, so I can go ahead and just hunt him down. You'll also notice there is quite a bit of fire in this area that he's going ahead and trying to, laying down different areas. Again, stay out of fire, stay out of swirly areas. He was just doing an induction there, so he used my fear to go ahead and get rid of that. Here's another goblin, so going ahead and just burning that goblin down, and relatively painless to go through and get him down. And then I've actually almost got the boss down, and I'm going to go ahead and finish out this skirmish. So I should have some more videos coming up here soon with not only the new content, but also some of the existing instances as well. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later.